Fine man, big baseball fan,
Mm-hmm.
has authorized all these checks for all these players. Somewhere down the road, because he's been so successful, I'm going to reach into that dictionary and pull out that word accountability again. He's got to hold somebody accountable if this does not work out. And so far, based on what we've seen, sub 500 season, huge disappointment. This has not worked out yet. We'll say this: he's spent an enormous amount of his wealth to try to put a quality team on the field, and they just haven't played up to the salary that they're earning. I guess I will never rationalize how you could sign guys to 10, 11, and 14-year contracts, especially guys that are 30 plus. That to me is I don't like to say wasted money, but that's a reach too far for me because we know when you hit 32 or you hit 35, things start to change, whether that's bat speed or bodies break down. I have no problem with them paying the state of the art money, what today's superstar makes. But to pay him that level through age 40 or 42, I'm not sure that's a real good business model. So I give him a B only because he's being dragged down by what his high paid employees are not doing in terms of production. But there's no doubt the man's heart, the man's mind is in the right place. But the length of contracts to me kind of scares me a little bit.
I can't see how anyone could blame Peter Seidler.
No.
I mean, considering all the horrible ownerships that we've had here, not just with Major League Baseball, with the NFL and the NBA. I mean, San Diego's had terrible ownership for decades. This guy, Peter Seidler, like you say, he's a fan. He wants to win. He wants to leave a legacy. It's incredible. I mean, we're fortunate to have him. To your point on the long-term contracts, I get that why you're concerned because, yeah, when they're 41, 42, they're not going to be productive. And B, if they are playing, they might even not even be playing at all. I just think the calculus is different because they're looking, if they spread that big deal over 11, 12 years, then the average annual value is manageable. And they know that when they get 10 years down the road, the time money thing, the money will not be as much. The salary cap will have increased a lot in 10 years. And then it becomes like, a bit of an anchor, but it's not going to be something that's going to drag you down for a long time. So I just think the calculus of how they do these long-term deals, they do it with the understanding that their productivity may only be for 7 or 8 years. And those remaining 4 or 5 years might be a waste.
Well said. Also, if we're using long division mathematical terms, we now have the other wild card in this whole conversation, the loss of the Bally TV money. We talked about this weeks ago, and the fact back-ended loaded contracts because the TV contract was back-end loaded. Well, that $60 million per year is gone, and I'll guarantee you opening day next season when MLB creates what they hope is going to be Team 30 streaming for everybody, but it's not going to be. Will they be able to get $60 million per year? I don't know about that. And the other wild card yesterday was the absolute worst I've seen at Petco Park in terms of booing. They just blistered the Padres. And granted, they have, they're averaging 40,000 plus per game, number 2 in all of baseball, only behind the Dodgers. You think with the huge prices that people pay to go sit along the third base line and watch their team and wear their gear and buy the beer and the dogs and all that. If this is a non-playoff season, you think those fans are going to come back? It's a big issue because the booing, I've never seen this kind of booing in the decade plus I've had at Petco Park, shiny jewel of downtown of the Gaslamp Quarter. Have never seen this type of booing now. So now there's a whole bunch of other variables that come into the Padres and how Peter Seidler operates this. I give him a B, you give him?
Oh, definitely an A.
Okay, one other sidebar story. We've talked about the GM. We talked about the manager. They got a guy in the dugout that's got a track record of success. Mike Schilt, Cardinals. Pretty good winning seasons in St. Louis, the Cardinal way. Got blown out a year ago. Cardinals are in last place. The thing has collapsed at Busch Stadium. Would you think, because of that guy and his resume, that maybe Schilt replaces Melvin to see if they can change the leadership, or is that too radical?
Yeah, I don't see that happening. I think if for something happened where you had to let go of Melvin, then I think you let go of Preller and you blow the whole thing up. Because I mean, Schilt, yeah, he's legit, but Melvin has a better track record and a lot more credibility and a lot more respect, not just in the Padre dugout, but around the league. So, but if Melvin had to go, then yeah, Schilt, even Matt Williams, he's been a manager for some time as well. So that's not a bad guy to look to. But I just can't in a million years see AJ Preller firing Bob Melvin because he's burned, 3 managers already. And if he fires Melvin, then he's going to have to admit that he failed.
Okay. Hey, before we get to